Yeah. You'll be fine. Yeah, just keep it out. Are y'all ready? Mm-hmm. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Fast Family League Showdown. We are here with race number 2 of round 3, NAOR versus TNT. It's going to be an awesome race. This is our first one at the famous Talladega. We are live here for this race, ready to go. Alongside me tonight, Mr. Slidejob 1996 is going to be Big Spur 14 and Kyle Fan 18. So, Mr. Big Spur, this is your second race with us. So, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you're excited about for tonight?
Yes, sir. Glad to be back in the booth tonight. As he already said, my name is BigSpur14. I'm the owner of the Unbound Racing League. We run on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. And I just like to hop in the booth sometimes and help some people out and be able to show y'all some great racing and show y'all what some of the best online Xbox racers have to offer here in the Fast Family Racing League Showdown. But tonight we got Kyle Fan. He's going to be streaming with me and Slide Job tonight. Kyle, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself too?
All right. This is my first time commentating a tournament race. I'm really excited. As far as leagues that I race in go, I race in the Shake and Bake racing league. I I've been running with them for about 3 years now, or 3 seasons. Sorry. But I'm excited to see how strategy plays out in this race. It's gonna be fun to see how they work together.
Absolutely. It's going to be a blast. One of the fastest tracks on the NASCAR circuit. Cars going well over 200 miles an hour, pack drafting. We saw a lot of that last time in the first race of round 3. We saw the second seeded eSpark take on the Challenger, which at that race happened to be, it was
Um,
OMA, or Online Motorsports Association, and what a race it was indeed. We saw awesome side by side, 2 and sometimes 3 wide racing, very minimal cautions, a lot of moves, a lot of blocks, but at the end of the day, it was eSpark that took home the victory, 376 to 233. No penalties in that race. Big shout out to Drew LMAO and Trippy Tricks, who were the lead two for OMA. And a big shout out to Mr. Trackbar leading eSpark, JRM Dohar behind him. Congratulations to eSpark. Moving on to the next round, they are the second team to join the first team to join Shake and Bake, who actually got the bye in the second round, in the round of 8. So tonight we'll be sending a third team to the third round. So what do you guys think, from taking away from what you saw in the first race? Does that give us any kind of inkling of what we're going to see tonight? Let's hear from you, Spur.
I think last night's race with eSpark is going to show us a lot about what happened based on the higher echelon of racers they have in that league, showing these guys how it's going to be done, how pack racing should be, how line holding should be, and how drafting with your team and maybe drafting with other teams should be. Kyle, what did you see last night's race, and what was your opinion about what happened in the events last night?
Um, well, I didn't see the whole race, but from parts I did see, I saw a lot of working together, a lot of front runners from eSpark, and it's gonna be fun to watch how TNT and NAOR run their teams and how they play strategy when they pit, and maybe see one of the teams try and jump each other on pit stops. That could be fun to watch, but all in all, I'm excited. It should be a good race.
Definitely pit
Absolutely. We saw
strategy.
strategy.
Hmm.
We had the same idea there. Good, good.
Exactly.
Bright minds think alike, right? We saw a
Yes,
lot of
sir.
pit strategy in that race. You never know when, a just saving a lap or two of fuel can get you, especially at a plate track like this. But we saw, even though there was a lot of mixed strategies, we saw packs come together and eventually add up to the one big pack again. So there could be, if this goes green, we could see some varying strategies as well, and maybe something pays off for some stage points tonight.
I think that's going to be one of the big key points tonight. The undercut is going to be a big key point. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw little parts of each team pitting at the first opportunity they saw that they're going to be able to make it to the end of a stage or even the end of the race. That could help them have more of a run coming on to the next team that's coming off a pit road. Let's say 4 or 5 guys pit a lap before, and they already have the momentum when the other team's coming out of pit road. So that's going to be very close, especially with the other team having to stay below that double yellow line second and have to let them by because of not coming up in the track and merging too early. Side job.
Yeah, absolutely. The yellow line is going to be the big factor tonight. I mean, we've seen real NASCAR races and eNASCAR races decided by somebody making a wrong move and either blocking somebody underneath or trying to make a pass underneath the yellow line, and obviously mistakes on pit road can make a huge factor tonight, to have a good result tonight. not just one driver, but all 10 of your drivers are going to have to perform and going to have to be pretty much mistake free, as we saw in the first race, in the last race we've had in the tournament. The team that won pretty much had almost a perfect race, and they executed very well. So, they just kind of showed everybody else, what it's going to take to move on. We've set the bar very high here, so cannot wait. So without further ado, Spur, why don't we meet team team Thursday Night Thunder?
Thursday Night Thunder, they are going to be headed by their league owner, COT Tommy, in the number 2 Ford Mustang, followed by Jacket FND4 and the 1 Chevrolet, Mark the Fat Shark in the 18, and Quiet also in the Toyota of the 19 car, Davy Jones 19 in the 21 Wood Brothers Mustang, Twisted Davy in the 32 Go Fast Machine, 41 of Nifty Agenda 8894, 42 of Jeep Gold 42, 48 of Tristan, and 77 of Dirt Daytona is going to round off their starters. Their substitutes they might have racing tonight is going to be Richie C. USA in the 24 Chevrolet. It's Crodum and the 47 Kroger. And the 88 of Bo 77. Kyle, do you have the lineup for NAOR tonight?
I think he had to step away from the mic, but I've got it. NAOR is going to be headed by the league owner J-Paw in the 22, followed by Chain Graboid in the number 2 machine. Dan the Lawn Man will be piloting the number 3. Juicy Crack in the number 6. J Quims in the number 8. Q Dog in the 9. Stout Whiskey will be driving the 12 car tonight. Baritone Boss in the 14. Cole 315 in the 17. Round out the regular starters list, Cheese 2081 is going to be in the number 43. For the substitutes, we have in the number 13, Bravo 40. In the 20, Advanced Line, and rounding out NAOR will be Beast Hunter 818 in the number 25. So, Big Spur, who do you think the drivers are, regardless of what team they're on, are the cars to watch tonight? Absolutely. And as far as I'm concerned, the guys that I'm going to be watching tonight for the NAOR squad are really going to be that 22 of J-Paw and the 12 of Stout Whiskey. I agree with you. Those two guys, I've seen them plate race before in my dealings with NAOR, and just watching them through the first 2 rounds, and they've been solid. I know everyone kind of struggled through the road course round except the select few, but going back into the mile and a half, Stout Whiskey won that race, and J-Paul was not far from him, so I expect those guys to be towards the front all day. Going into Thursday Night Thunder, I'm going to be honest with you, the guy that I'm going to watch is Davy Jones, and let me tell you why, because this man not only won the first race for his team at Atlanta, he finished second in the road course round. This guy has been on fire the entire tournament. He's been carrying the banner for TNT, and I expect him to be leading that squad of drivers for the TNT group. Absolutely. And NAOR, oh, good, sorry. Absolutely. And, from the NAOR side, we've been talking about this all tournament, that you hate to
Crap, I
think
wasn't.
that they might be cursed or something, but, the NAOR squad has had an interesting run of the tournament, being, in the first round, they had a driver on the opposite team DQ'd, and they ended up, DQing the whole team, and NAOR getting the victory after only one stage of racing. And then here in the second round, a close battle with my own league, Fast Family Racing League, where after two hard-fought stages, the servers lagged out and kicked us all out of the race, and we weren't able to finish the race. So, the NAOR squad has been, saying, man, we just want a full race so far. So, I think all of us have our fingers crossed, and we're ready to see a full race for them and for both these teams tonight. It should be an awesome race. Cannot wait for it. So, without a further ado, we should be close to these guys getting on track from qualifying. But let's take a moment to reflect on today. So, if you guys don't know, today is, I believe, the 19th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on the Twin Towers in New York City and two other places among the United States. So, tonight, we are also not only racing, but we're also thinking about all of the men and women in the armed forces, first responders, and all of those that put their lives on the line every single day. So we appreciate them. And even the special thing in this race, we have two drivers tonight that are actually on these squads that have served in the armed forces. So I believe I was told before the race, Jake Quims from NAOR serves in the military actively right now. So we appreciate him for his service. I also believe, I'm not sure if he's on TNT's roster, but I know that actually he is. Twisted Navy from the TNT roster is also a military veteran as well. So we appreciate both of them and all the veterans and first responders out there. You guys are awesome, and you guys put your lives on the line for us every day, and we can never be more thankful for that. I don't know if you guys had anything else you'd like to add.
Mhm. Yeah, 9/11, it's one of the darkest days in American history. Me, I didn't remember it. I was 9 months old, and I didn't really even see anything or understand anything about it until I saw a little magnet on my fridge growing up that said "Never forget" with an American flag, and then firefighters raising the American flag. And then I asked my parents, and I learned about it. And at those days, there's many young people about the age I am now that went to go sacrifice their lives into wars in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan. Like two of my nephews, fortunately they came back, but we lost many people that day, about 3,000 people on 9/11, and then we've lost countless thousands and thousands within the wars that have spread over the last 19 years through this thing, and we're still stuck in the Middle East, and we were even before that. But I think 9/11 is one of the biggest days in American history, not just how dim and dreary it was, but how we rose up out of that and still being the most free place on the planet. And I'm happy to say I'm American and happy to say I live here.
Absolutely. It's definitely a day we will remember. And it sounds like, from me, getting from race control, yep, we will be loading into qualifying in a moment here. So we'll get our first look at all of the drivers that will be on track tonight. So as soon as we get in here, we'll give you guys a look at those drivers. But yeah, as we said, we are here in race 2 of round 3 at the famous Talladega Speedway. 2.66 miles around this ginormous super speedway. One that used to be a crown jewel, but is now still one of the revered places in the NASCAR circuit. So as soon as we get in here, you will get a first look at this track. Definitely one of the best places to race around. Kyle Fan, what is your experience at Talladega in your league racing career?
My experience at Talladega so far, it's been up and down. You know, some days it can be great and I'm leading laps, and then some days I'm in the big one and my race is over. It's all about position here. It's all about lining up your team with qualifying. If you can manage to get most of your guys on the inside, that's great. If you can manage to get most of your guys on the outside, well, that's not so great. You know, you definitely want to qualify on the inside here. That's going to be important, but it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how these guys fare and work together.
Absolutely, and it looks like the drivers are getting lined up. It looks like we have the 48 of Cheese is going to be the first car rolling off for qualifying, so we're going to kind of stick on him and kind of see what he does for his qualifying lap. Now, I've seen two different approaches at this big spurt. You know, sometimes I see drivers on the warm-up lap try to get every single mile per hour they can, so they ride that top line on the warm-up lap, and some drivers just go right to the bottom and stick there. So, you know, what would be your approach if you were one of these drivers in qualifying?
My approach all the way until the second lap would be able to run that high line where the most banking is and be able to have the best run, most mile an hour carried through the straightaway, to be able to have my best attempt at carrying the most speed coming to that second lap, which is going to be the most vital lap for you. Being able to carry the most speed, be able to get the fastest time you can for your team so you can have the best starting position. I'm looking at the 22.
Yeah, I'm looking at 22. He's running that yellow line. He's not getting the run up, but I see now he moves up to the high side, and he's getting an arc into turn 1, carrying a bit more speed on the bottom. But I don't know how it's going to work out. If I was him, I would have gone to the top in 3 and 4, and then all the way through the trial. But you know, we'll see how he does in qualifying.
Absolutely. You know, it sounds like they almost took your advice. I watched the 48 car. It looked like till he had an internet issue and lagged out there. But the 3 car is following the same thing. He went right up to the high lane on his warm-up lap. And where we probably will see him drop to the bottom for his actual up-to-speed lap. But yeah, it seems like all these drivers kind of followed what you said and just went straight to the high side on that first lap.
And alright, we got our first batch of drivers finished in qualifying here. It's the 22, and all the other guys are finishing up. We got Q-Dog in the 9 starting up on the bottom again. Like I said, I don't see how this is going to work for them. I think they need to be on the top.
Absolutely, and you see, you know, on the actual qualifying lap, you see the drivers just hug that bottom yellow line, and that's really where you want to be. It's the shortest way around the track. You know, you get the best time once you're up to speed down there, but the one trick, as Kyle Fan, I'm sure you know this, is that, you know, hitting the apron, you know, being that close to it is very easy to do and can really mess up your lap.
Absolutely. I mean, that apron has always seemed to be my worst nightmare, and it can really cause some checkups through the entire line if someone, let's say the leader hits it, and that's also where we see people in the back building runs. We'll see them going to the outside in the race when the leader hits the apron and possibly take advantage and get the lead.
Absolutely.
Yes, hit the
you
apron.
Know,
Yes, hitting the apron has been a big problem in league races I've experienced when people aren't the best line holders here at the super speedways. Like, when they hit the apron, they'll come up the track, and there might be a car trying to suck up a side draft off of them, and that might cause a big accident. But we didn't see that much last night with the E-Spark matchup, maybe once or twice, where those guys, they just had steadier hands, steadier wheels, and we were able to hold on to those cars way better.
And
Absolutely. And as, NASCAR drivers, we really have to talk about, wheel versus controller because, there's a lot of drivers that have wheels and a lot of them that have controllers. And it almost seems like the difference between the two is really accentuated at super speedways where, your ability to hold the line is really going to be key. So, it'll be interesting to see, if we can spot that difference between some of these drivers.
And I'll tell you what, I was on board with the 6th car of Juicy Crack, and he was on that yellow line the entire lap with his left sides just painted in. I would not be surprised to see him up front for qualifying. That looked like a great lap.
Absolutely, that one looked super clean. I was watching him as well as we see the one car of Jacket FND going out there. Interesting mix, I've seen an interesting mix of Fords and Chevys. Not many Toyotas in this field tonight, or at least that I saw. But just another interesting thing to bring up as we watch these guys go around for qualifying. The race will be starting in just a few moments as these guys wrap up qualifying their single lap. If you're not familiar, a lot of league races, if not most league races, use this kind of system where, the game really doesn't provide us a way to have a qualifying session per se. So it is up to league owners and drivers to kind of make their own. As you see, the drivers had to do a pace lap so that they don't get kicked out, and then we release drivers all by themselves, just like a real NASCAR qualifying session would be run. So just another interesting feature that we can add to the game.
As I was watching the one car warm up here, while he's already coming to the end of his lap, I saw that for his warm-up lap, we were talking about the outside lane and the inside lane. He was running a weird mix, running right in the middle, with them right side tires barely being up on those second dashed lines. Which, let's see if anybody else is going to be running that for the rest of qualifying here.
Absolutely. We see the 19 car finishing up his lap. The 18 looks to be finishing up his as well. And then it looks like we have the 12 should be finishing. Oh no, he's actually, he's finishing his. So that should be qualifying. So we should be almost wrapped up with qualifying soon. And we'll figure out who got our pole and where everyone will be stacking up. But let's talk about the race. So, Kyle Fan, I'll ask you first. If you were to pick three things that are key to your team advancing from this race, what would you say your 3 keys to this race would be?
All right. Well, first off, I would say strategy. That is the number one thing. If you can plan strategy out, if you get all your guys in the back and you save a certain amount of laps where you take away a pit stop, that could win you the race. That could advance. Number 2, I'd say track position. You really want to be up at the front. You want to have at least 5 guys leading and just shut off the outside line. If you can turn off the outside line, then no one's going to pass you, and it's just going to be you in control of the race. And then number 3, cautions. Should I pit? Should I not? If do you take the track position, by not pitting, or do you take track position by getting all your guys at the back and trying to build a run? Those are my top 3 things to pay attention to.
Those are 3 good keys. What about you, Big Spur? What are your keys to this race?
3 good keys, like he was saying, with the pit strategy. Diving deeper into that pit strategy, I think it's going to be having all your guys on a same strategy, or at least a very close strategy, so you can have all your guys together, get all latched up together, drafting again, so y'all can maybe catch an advantage on the other team pitting, or if they get their guys split up into 2-3 different packs, to have to pit on different schedules, which that could be a massive advantage going to the end of the stages or to the near end of the race.
Absolutely. I think those are all great. I agree with all of them. As far as mine go, one of them for me is, and this goes for not just this race specifically, but it could be very much accentuated here, is mistakes. And mainly the big mistakes will be speeding on pit road, making contact with another car or a teammate coming into pit road, or not keeping all 4 tires on the apron off the exit of pit road. For me, if you commit one of those mistakes, your race is going to be severely impacted. So it's going to be either A, minimizing, or B, just not making any of those mistakes and having a clean race. The second one is going to be the draft. And, this is something that, is very much an important factor in super speedways as well as tracks like Auto Club, Michigan, and the like. But at super speedways like Talladega and Daytona, the draft is key, and you want to be able to manipulate the draft to be able to make passes, to be able to stay out front, and save fuel. So it's really the lifeblood of these tracks. So you're going to want to be able to use it to the best of your ability for you. And my third one, teamwork. So this, unlike most races that we're used to in our daily league racing, is a team event. So it's not just about one driver or 3 drivers on the team. All of your drivers are going to have to perform well. All of your drivers are going to have to attempt to get stage points here, because as we saw in the eSpark race, it came down to eSpark's drivers just held the top, most of the top 10 positions throughout the stages. They got the stage points. They finished up front, even though OMA had some drivers finish in the top 10 in stage 3. It was just too late. They had already given up a whole bunch of points early on, and it was just incredibly hard to come back from that. So, it's really going to be finding your teammates, working with your teammates, and making sure your whole team stays towards the front, as you mentioned, Kyle, with the track position. It's going to be key here. So, using all those things are going to help you win tonight's race. So, I'm hearing from race control we're about a minute away from exiting qualifying. Right now you're riding on board with CRL Sam, who is the main official for tonight. He was running qualifying. We're kind of watching on board his car, taking a trip around Talladega. Now, what interests me, Kyle, is Talladega, as opposed to Daytona, which we saw in the first race, is a little bit wider. It seems like there's way more space, especially on the back stretch and the front stretch. You can fit 4 wide. You definitely don't want to do it too often, but you have that middle lane a little bit wider, and you could almost stuff a 4th car in there. So, do you think that's going to be a factor tonight?
I think it absolutely will. If obviously being 4-3 wide, that's really risky. But if you can hold it, it can be 1, fun to watch for us, and 2, that could cause some cautions if they don't hold it.
Absolutely. I am so excited for this race. There's so much real estate to use and cover, and especially, going the other way, Spur, you can talk about this, is that, with Talladega being bigger than Daytona, if you're the leader and you're coming to 1 to go or 2 to go, it kind of works against you, because now you have more real estate to block. You go, you see a high lane coming, and you got to block them, and then they just move to the middle and completely leave you out to dry. So it's even more challenging here to use up the real estate and make sure you stay in the front.
100%. It's really challenging, especially compared to Daytona. Talladega has 4 or 5 lanes in that tri-oval. It's 5 lanes, and then it bottlenecks down to 4 lanes, like what happened to Regan Smith in 2008, where that could protect you a little bit, obviously not blocking under the yellow line, but having a little bit less real estate coming to that final straightaway to the start-finish line out of the tri-oval, unlike Daytona, where it's right in the middle of the tri-oval, and it's a 2 to 3 lane racetrack, which it makes it maybe a little bit easier to block at a track like Daytona.
Absolutely, and as I'm looking at the qualifying results, it looks like it's going to be a TNT lockout with Jacket, FND getting your pole, and Jeep Eagle going to be your second place driver outside pole. It looks like the pole was definitely in the 5s, 49.571 for your pole, 49.575, only 4 thousandths off second. Your top driver for NAOR is going to be Stout Whiskey in the third position on the bottom, and Juicy Crack in fourth. So you have 2 guys in TNT, 2 guys in NAOR. The rest of the field is all mixed up. What do you guys see on this list?
Well, first off, I see first and third, they're not teammates, so it's going to be interesting to see, if the guy starting third drops back to get his teammates, or if he's going to hold his team up there for second and hope his guys get up to him.
Absolutely.
And starting fifth, I see we got the 32 of Twisted Navy. But the 32 of Twisted Navy starting fifth, and like I said, there it goes TNT, NAOR, and then TNT. So how are they? Are they going to try and shift out G-Bull out of line and get their league out front?
That's possible. And one thing I'm seeing, even though there are some NAOR drivers up front, I see a lot of TNT guys in this top 10. It is definitely a mix, and with a plate track, you have constant shuffling of positions. So qualifying probably matters the least that it normally would at other tracks. However, early on, if these TNT guys maybe link up, we could really see, some kind of teamwork going on up there. What do you guys think?
A little bit. They might be laying back. They might want to kind of feel out how the other team races against them and how they all race against each other, because you haven't raced with half the guys, or maybe more than that, in the field. These guys have definitely done some practice. It might be one person you haven't with. So I think the beginning of the first stage is going to be a little bit of a filling out process, seeing what type of people, how they run in the draft, how they are as a pusher, how they are as a getting pushed. And I think that's going to be a real push out before they start using strategy to determine how they're going to finish stage 1.
All right, we are just minutes away from getting the race underway. Race 2 of round 3 at Talladega. Tonight, we are going to be doing I believe the Geico 500. We're going to see both events, both of them only 94 laps, same distance, 250 miles, but you'll see the Alabama 500 later on in the tournament. But tonight, the Geico 500 at Talladega. So you're going to see 250 miles tonight. Going to be a very interesting race, 94 laps of on your edge of your seat racing. We cannot wait to get this going. We do apologize tonight. No fancy graphics or anything. It was a last-minute scheduled event. We want to make sure we accommodate the drivers and the league owners and the commentators as much as possible. So tonight we were unable to provide you with the normal graphics and music you guys are used to, but we will have that back with the 2 races coming up tomorrow. We will talk about that a little later on in the broadcast, but tomorrow we have our first and only doubleheader from round 3. And don't worry, you don't have to choose between which race you want to watch, because they are staggered enough where you'll be able to catch all the action for both. So make sure once we release the details that you tune into the first, and then right after that, tune right into the second one. It's going to be a awesome day of racing, so you do not want to miss that. All right, so we should be loading in here to the race. Drivers getting ready for those 94 laps. Tensions are high. A spot in the round of 8 on the line in the Geico 500 at Talladega tonight. Kyle fan, I am just super excited for this race. What do you think these first few laps are going to be like for these drivers?
First few laps, I think we're gonna see them single file out. I think the outside is they're really gonna rush to get to the inside. They're gonna go single file for about 3 laps, and then I think we'll see people at the back, taking their shots, testing out their cars on the outside. Probably won't get any work with them, but it's all about testing the car in the first stage, seeing how much power it has.
Absolutely. A smart move would be to just settle in, not make any mistakes early, and just, feel out the car. What do you think there, Big Spur? How are you feeling as we go green in race 2 of round 3?
This is going to be a very exciting event off the jump. I don't know if we're going to see any guys lay like 10, 20 seconds back like a real-life race, but maybe if they lose the draft, that might be the safest spot for them to be. As we have the number 1 of Jacket still leading off the field, coming here onto the backstretch, followed by the 42 of Jeepkle, his teammate, leading that outside lane, fading back a little bit with the 12 and the 32 leading them for that inside lane with Jacket.
And there goes
17.
the 42 right to the bottom. As I expected, they're getting to the inside line. There's only 4 cars left on that outside. And here we go, now down to 3. We got Stout Whiskey, the 77 of Dirt to Daytona, and they're just filing in.
17 cars all under a blanket. Drivers getting into a single file line, only 1 or 2 cars in that outside line. Everybody taking it easy. You see a lot of mix-up here at the front, guys. I see several NAOR drivers with the 12 of Stout Whiskey and the 9 of Q-Dog, but they are in the mix with the number 1 car of Jacket and I believe the 32 of Twisted. So we see quite a bit of team mixture up the front.
We have a promotion.
Big crash.
Big.
Let's see if we can find. Looks like the 2 of COT Tommy is involved. We got the 19 of Quiet involved. Looks like the 17 of Cole, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 6 of Juicy, all involved in that wreck. I'm hearing over the radio it might have been some technical issues with lag but it just looked like one of the cars just turned in front of the back part of that field. What did you guys see?
Well, it did look like the 22 of Jay Powell. It looked like he just kind of, donkey kicked back a little bit, and that's all it took.
Indeed, then donkey kicks are very dangerous here on the super speedways with lag. They're the most dangerous, especially if you're the guy in front of someone and you have that little bit of surge. It can wreck a whole entire line of cars and just cause a lot of commotion. Heavy damage on that too is CLT Tommy. He's gonna have to come in here for Fresh Goodyears and fix that damage. Probably about 10 to 15 seconds of damage. And a couple other guys for TNT and NAOR are going to be fixing some damage here for the first caution here in round 3, race 2 at Talladega.
Absolutely. And talking about teams mixing it up, look at the top 6. The number 1 from TNT, the 12 in second place from NAOR, 32 back to TNT, the 9 from NAOR, and the 42 back to TNT, and the 48 back to NAOR. So they are already staggered and mixed up already, and we only had about 2 laps there under green before we had our first caution of the day. Big Spur, what do you think? Do you think because of how early this caution came out, you think some drivers are going to take maybe fuel only 2 tires? Do you think there's going to be any gambling going on here?
Maybe so. I think a lot of these guys have some tire pressure adjustments and a bunch of adjustments that they would need to take 2 or 4 tires to be able to have their car set a little bit better for how they felt out the first couple laps. Kyle, what do you think?
Absolutely, and it looks like 2 people we just got to do that. The 18 of Mark the Fat Shark and the 48 of Cheese came out in front of the whole field. Looked like everyone took 2 tires and fuel except these 2. What do you think about that, Kyle?
I like the decision. I'm looking at these 2 cars, and they're both from Thursday Night Thunder. So I think we could see a staggered start here. Maybe let one of the other get the lead, and then take control of the race.
Absolutely. I think, how early we are in the race, the tires really aren't that worn. You only went about 2 laps on fuel, so honestly, just taking fuel only or maybe even right sides, I don't think you're losing much to the guys behind you that took 4. However, depending on how many laps left to go in the stage, looks like we will be coming to the green with it looks like 25 to go.
Ooh.
I mean, that is a little bit more than your pit window. So, maybe pitting and getting those extra couple of laps of fuel is going to help you maybe save enough to get to the end here.
Yeah. Thinking about that, after seeing the caution, I was gonna talk. There is a winner out of this caution. I'd say that's the 3 car of Dan the Lawn Man. It looked like he lost the draft from the big pack, and that could have ended his race. If he could have gone a lap down, he would have been completely off the pace, but that caution came out at the perfect time for him.
Absolutely. And it looks like all the drivers are getting formed up, and we're going to get ready to go and start with lap 5 of 29 for stage 1. So quite a bit of racing left in the first stage. Boy, my heart rate is already through the roof, and we've only done 4 laps.
Mine right now is at 97 BPM.
There you go.
What did I say?
Results.
Look at that. The 48 doesn't go. He's going to get on the inside right with his teammate.
A massive run for the 18, but here's the thing. The 18 has got such a big lead that, these teammates behind him might just use that gap to his disadvantage and get the run and go by.
Yeah, and they're
that 12
already
and 48 are coming.
Here they come. Will they pull out of line? It looks like for the moment they're going to stick behind them and keep the track position as the 9 and the 3 and teammate 22 go to the high side. Everybody else pretty much down
and
low.
14.
The 14 pulls out.
It's starting
Even more to the high
outside
side.
going. And the 48 and the 18 block. Oh, 48's in the block.
Ooh, 3 wide.
Big block.
And going to the 3 wide, 3 car in the middle. Ooh, they worked it out.
Very good line
like the
holding.
48 tried to. It looked like the 48 tried to slide up in front of his teammate, and the 18 went with him. But I don't know if that was a late block by the 18 or the 48 went up too quickly and made contact with the wall there. But whatever it was, that's shuffled the 48 almost all the way to the back of this line.
That 9 flies back up to the top.
Now we're hearing from race control that it was a little bit of a combination, that it looked like the 18 did go for a block as the 12 pulls out of line, and the 48 kind of got up in the wall a little bit. So, guys, have you ever experienced it where, the draft is so influential that you go up for a block and the air is just so light there that you go up into the wall?
100%. That happens a lot. And right now, as we see, the 12 is leading that second pack. They're getting a good bit of momentum on the outside, led by the 12 and the 9, as the 1 is still hooked onto the front bumper, the 18, and Mark the Fat Shark. Is the 2 yellow cars are going to almost be nose to nose here, I think, coming out of turn 4, if that outside line can hold the momentum.
How crazy is this? 4 guys from TNT on the bottom, 5 guys on the top for NAOR. The 18 look like trying to take some air off the top, but guys, that outside line is coming, and those NAOR guys are trying to make their move to the front.
12 beat him to the line, so NAOR definitely had the momentum coming off there, and they might here still coming off of turn 2.
And it looks like a 6th guy, the 14 and the 48, even a 7th car for NAOR might be helping, but it looks like the 48 is choosing to stay on the bottom.
And the 12 car, he's clear now, but he's choosing to stay up top. He's going to try and bring his teammates with him. and that's a risky move. It allows the inside to get formed up, and again, and then maybe all that work you did on that outside was worthless.
Exactly,
Kyle, I'm
Kyle.
going to ask you this question. Oh, go ahead.
Exactly, Kyle. When it's a lot easier to form that inside lane with using the yellow line as a marker to help hold your line than for the outside lane. Back to you, Slide Job.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you guys, if you're the leader and, you got 4 guys that are teammates behind you and you're clear, but they're not, do you weigh your options and say, maybe I take the lead, or do I just wait for my teammates to be able to come down with me?
And they left the 43 out. That's the risk of going with them, and you got to get down at some point.
Maybe sometimes
a little bit of shoving there. Sorry,
yeah, maybe sometimes it's better to.
Got 3 wide in the back, 43 on the outside.
Absolutely, definitely a hornet's nest back there. It looks like a bunch of the NAOR guys that did get in front there. Then you're followed by a bunch of TNT guys, all the way from, it looks like, 6th back to 10th, and then you've got a mixture back there where the 14 has gone to, and one car way off the pace.
It's a 19 car of Quiet from TNT, and he is gone. Once he lost the draft, he was out of here.
Now, how about this, guys? We got 5 guys in NAOR kind of broken away. Actually 4, sorry about that. And then a 5th car of the 18, but you got a bunch of guys from TNT behind them. It looks like they're having trouble getting organized there. But do you think that these guys will really make a good attempt to get past those guys the same way on the outside?
They can try, but seeing how NAOR work together, I don't know. They are formed up and moving.
Absolutely. And, we talk about points, even though NAOR occupies the top 4, it's going to be those 6 through 10 guys that are really going to make the difference here, with TNT holding 6th to about 9th. So, it's really going to come down to the end of the stage looks like the guys are coming to lap 12 of 29, most with only 5 laps of fuel left, unless they did not pit there. So, we don't know how much fuel the 18 and the 48 took, but what we do know is that most of the fuel will be coming down in 5 laps or less.
Oh, 48 signal, and he's coming in, I think. He went under the yellow line.
That might be a signal with these guys with the 5-6 laps to go on their fuel. That's going to mean they're about a half lap to 1.5 laps short on fuel. So maybe some of those TNT and NAOR guys back in the pack are going to be saving fuel to try to stretch it only on 1 stop here. Right now it's mostly looking like a 2-stop.
And on board with the 1, they backed up and they are building a run. But it looks like they're not going to take it right now, but they were back there and they had it.
Absolutely, and you talked about fuel strategy. If I'm a guy like maybe the 77 or the 14 at the tail end of this pack, it'd be very hard unless you have a big group of guys to get to the front and advance your position. So if I'm one of those guys sitting at the end of this pack, I'm sitting back and saving some fuel. I'm not pushing the car. I'm not going nuts, because unless stuff happens in front of me, I really don't have any control right now.
See, you can go either way. If I was a TNT guys, I would say maybe even pit now and, try and jump them. Yes, you'll be making that second stop, but you don't know what NAOR guys are doing here as far as if they're saving fuel or not. I'd say for the 5 guys out in front, they're all out. I'd say they're not saving, but for some of the NAOR that league in the back, I'd say they could be saving fuel and they would split, their league half and half.
Absolutely. As we see the 12 of Stout Whiskey lead the field around, looks like 16 of 17 cars in a straight line. We saw a little bit ago the 19 of Quiet is the only car that's gotten separated from this pack. Not sure how that happened, but we have pretty much 16 cars underneath the blanket with it looks like only 3 laps in the tank for most drivers, coming to lap 15 of 29. So this is the halfway mark in stage 1. What do you guys think these drivers are going to do to try to get these stage points at the end of the stage?
Like we've been saying, the biggest part for the stage points here is going to be strategy and when you pit here. Are you going to try to cut it in half, like a 2-stop here? Like, I think there's 14 to go. Are you going to try to split it like 7-7? Or are you going to try to stretch it on 1 stop, which is going to be very difficult for them guys to do?
I think it really depends on, where you are in the field. If I'm a guy like Stout Whiskey, I am burning a ton of fuel leading this race. If I were him, I would think about, maybe splitting it up or trying to pit with a couple laps to go before the pit closes and just get minimal fuel. But if I'm a guy, like I was mentioning before, the 14 of Baritone Boss, I want to save fuel and try to make it to the end. As we see, it looked like 2 cars there signaling to go to pit road.
Yeah, they're pitting, and I think the TNT guys, they need to stay out here. They need to take this chance and maybe jump them on the overjump. And, we could see.
Here we go.
Enough.
12 and 9 down pit road.
Well, I don't like that. I don't like those 2 cars in pit road. I think this big pack could, they could be at the back once they cycle out.
I think that big pack's going to swallow them alive, honestly. 2 cars against maybe 10, I think it's going to be a very big problem for them.
And I'm seeing
agree.
some
it looks
lag
like the 48 getting a little... He gets a little squirrely there. But, yeah, we saw only 2 cars from NAOR, really come down pit road by themselves. You'd think that the 48, you'd think that the 9 and the 12 would communicate with their team and say, hey, I know we're a little shorter on gas. Oh, and here comes the field. Everybody comes down the field, down the pit road.
Oh,
wow.
32's dead. 48 misses pit road.
And leaves.
It looks like that may have been a lag issue.
That's going to be a very big problem for the 32 for a speeding penalty, definitely, and a bunch of damage.
Actually, we just got news the 48 has just lost an engine coming into pit road there. So he's going to be in the garage, and the rest of these cars on the track, or will be on the track in a second. Let's check out where the 12 will come out. The 12 and the 9 here got linked up after they came off pit road. Let's see where they come out in relative to the field. It looks like
they're going
to cycle
They're
out.
coming.
See, I like this strategy now. With the whole field coming in, they lost a lot of time on entry. So I think these 2 cars, one's in the grass, that's the 32.
Oh, there's an issue there. Yeah, definitely the 32 and it might have been the 22 had an issue there, but here comes the 12 and the 9. Will they have enough momentum?
18 with the
18.
Oh,
the 18.
Oh! He's coming back up. Oh, big crash.
Big wreck. The 1's around. 77 around. 21 around.
Wow, 21 around. Looks like the 77 might have been involved in that. I can't tell, but wow. We just had one pit stop there, and madness broke out. We saw a couple different things, while we're waiting for pits to cycle out. Let's find our leader first of all, and then so let's kind of break down all of what we just saw. So I guess Big Spur, why don't we just start with the splitting of the pitting. So you saw the 12 and the 9 pit early, and they kind of drove all the way almost back up to the lead doing that, but they had one less lap of fuel. So do you like that call?
I think in hindsight's 2020, that was a great call. What happened there to really bring out the caution was the 12 and the 9 had the massive run for NAOR, and the 18 of Mark the Fat Shark from TNT threw a massive block to the outside that the 12 put inside to try to
Absolutely.
get through the middle to get back to that lead. But that really caused a problem because when he did that, he slammed down to the 77 that came back up on the track and killed him and the 21 car.
Oh yeah, that was nuts. And then Kyle, I don't know if you were watching, but you know the 32 and the 22 looked like we didn't catch it quite on camera, but they had a dust up on the apron coming off pit road. So you know, did you see that incident, and what did you think about that?
I was on board with the 12 of Stout Whiskey at the time, but I saw them exiting pit road on the apron. It looked like someone got on the track and they turned it right down back onto the apron to, you know, stay there, and they just turned into the 32.
Yeah, that was definitely chaotic. You know, we talked about, you know, mistakes and, you know, getting on the apron or staying on the apron on exit is going to be key, and that definitely messed things up. And then we'll get back to you, Spur. You saw firsthand, you know, the block of the 18, you know, 3/4 of the way down the backstretch. Obviously not quite up to speed as the 12 and the 9. So, you know, do you like that block? You know, if you were the 18, would you have done the same thing? And, you know, what about that move from the 12 to go down the middle, too?
I might have not made that type of block this early in the race. Maybe stage 3, maybe into stage 2. But with 13, 14 laps to go in stage 1, I don't think that was the best decision he really could have made. Especially when you know the 12 and the 9 where we're going to have to make a second pit stop probably.
And looking at the drivers that stayed out on pit road, we got 8 cars that stayed out, and that's going to be tough. We're going to see the 12 car in lap traffic, or not lap, just traffic, and it's going to be interesting to see how their team, that pit, you know, it's going to get their way back up here. I don't agree with the 18 staying out here, though. I think he's got some rear end damage from that block, and he could be loose, he could be tight, but his car is going to be all over the place.
Absolutely. You know, I don't think, from being honest, watching that incident, I don't know if the 18 actually did get damaged there, because the 12 did an excellent job of staying off and taking the middle line there. They had the momentum, and that, you know, we talked about Talladega and how wide it really is. You know, if that were Daytona, that would have been a huge wreck. I mean, there's not much room to avoid, especially you saw a car on the bottom lane and then the 18 moving to the top. At Daytona, there would have been no room to be had there. But at Talladega, you saw the 12 and the 9 just go straight down the middle there. What a nice move to avoid a wreck there. And it looked like it may have been some action in the back there. We caught a little bit of it, but yeah, there's definitely some crazy events.
Yeah, and if I was the 12 in that situation, I think I would have gone to the top. That's risky going to the middle when you got people on the inside and the car blocking's in the middle. You know, I think I would have gone to the outside. I think they would have, you know, had the lead. We never would have had that wreck, but that's just me. Everyone thinks different, and but here we are.
Absolutely.
We're gonna be getting ready.
Good.
This is gonna be a great restart here. We're gonna be coming to about 7-8 laps to go as they're here on the backstretch getting ready with that front row of the 18 of Mark and the 3 of Dan, the lawman, for NAOR. It's gonna be a front row of 2 different leagues, and it's gonna be very interesting how it turns out.
Absolutely. You know, we just saw not that many laps and a ton of action already, and we're still in stage 1. This has been a crazy race so far. We saw everything kind of, you know, start slow and then just build intensity, but you know, we'll be going green this time by to hopefully finish the rest of stage 1 under green conditions here. So cannot wait to get the rest of this going. It should be quite a finish for those all-important stage points. And it looks like, for the moment, the 18 staying out there is going to be your leader. And it looks like the 3 of Dan the Lawn Man is going to be in second. The 6 and the 42 will make up row 2, and green flag in the air.
Massive
That
jump by the
18 got a
18.
jump. How many laps in the stage do we have here? Because I think with the 12s, pit in there, I like their position here.
I think everybody is able to make it on fuel now. Maybe the 18 is going to be close because he did not pit him and the 3. 17 down low below the yellow line got pushed down, but it's going to be tough for those guys. They definitely would have had to save under, but because of the extra pace lap, they definitely had enough time to save.
Yeah.
New leader
Look
of the
at
3.
this. Yeah, NAOR all on the top here. They are moving again. They passed the 18 like he was sitting still. And that back car there is not clear yet. Almost at the 21 in the grass. Slide job. What do you think here? NAOR picking the top here early and just taking control early again.
Yeah, they have been using that high lane all race long with expertise. You know, they definitely practice that early going in practice. So you know that they plan to use it from the get-go. And, you know, you saw when we first started stage 1 and everybody kind of got into their team lines, and you saw NAOR form up on the high side, they drove right around TNT on the bottom lane. And then TNT just couldn't form up behind them and get a run going. So, you know, so far, it looks like NAOR is mastering the draft just a little bit better than TNT. But, again, we are still in stage 1. A lot of racing yet to go. It was only 6 to go that time by.
Once again, the 19 has off pace.
I think he's just trying to play it really conservative here. I don't know if that's going to be the best decision for Davy Jones and the rest of his guys. Or no, that's Quiet in the 19. Davy Jones is in 21. But Quiet, I don't know if that's going to be the best decision. Maybe laying back and not worrying about stage points as much to save his car for the late run. As it seems like not a lot of people have been that friendly to the 18 on Mark after that block that caused the caution. Especially the 14. The 18 gave him the lane, and the 14 just pushed him off the track. It's like, no, bub, you're going to the back. Go learn your lesson. And that was a good lesson there, taught by Baritone.
Absolutely. I don't like either of those moves. You know, we talked about how crucial stage points are. I don't like the 19 of Quiet just sitting back there, losing the draft. No way to get back up front. You're just basically taking yourself out of it and saying, well, you know, I'm not going to worry about points, which, you know, really would be a real bad move. But, you know, you saw the 18 make that block. He definitely, you know, basically said to the rest of the drivers that, you know, that's how I'm going to race. I'm going to be aggressive right from the get-go, and I expect you to race me that way.
Another bad thing about that 19 staying in the back is TNT already lost another one of their teammates, as the 48 Tristan lost an engine earlier in the race and now is out of the race. So that's more points lost for them and less opportunity for them to get stage points here in stage 1 and stage 2.
And how about this? We got an outside line actually point. Looks like TNT finally getting something going here. Davy Jones in the 21, that car I mentioned to watch, leading the pack 32, 42, 18, 2, and 1. It's like trying to get a run here, but you got, you know, Stout Whiskey in the 12 and the 22 of J-Paul kind of holding on to the end of that draft. Maybe they play blocker here.
Yeah, and
now
see the 21 going to the outside now on the 12 and 22, and they got a good line of about 6 cars lined up in the back, and they're gonna try and get moving here, but it's just they are not getting anywhere.
You know, I think the biggest thing that's, you know, hurting them right now is you see how wiggly those guys are in the line, and you see the one keep popping down to the bottom. That is definitely hurting, you know, that line right now. When we saw NAOR get control of that line and just push to the front, they were nose to tail, bumper to bumper, not swerving. Everybody staying in line, as it looks like, oh, the 2 is around. The 18 and the 2 got into it, and the 2 ends up on pit road. So teammates taking each other out.
That might even hurt Tommy even more.
Penalty.
Yeah, that's definitely a speeding penalty, and he might even get another penalty added onto that because it was pretty close if the leaders were at the start-finish line, but I think he was safe, so it's only going to be the 15-second speeding penalty for Tommy. But big crusher to him. He was trying to get up with TNT up to make some stage points in that top 10. Big crusher, but I look at him to be able to rebound here in stage 2.
And the question is now, does he go a lap down? Looking at this, it looks like he's going to be safe, but that could be close as the leaders are in the trap. Oh, it's going to be close.
Yeah, and it looks like leaders are coming to one to go. One to go at the line with the 3 car of Dan the Lawn Man in the lead. Oh, the 2, after already having to be put on pit road, it looks like he came up on the banking. That's going to be yet another penalty as he goes a lap down and lets the field by here. But it looks like if everything plays into their favor, Dan the Lawn Man is going to win this stage with 4, maybe 5, even more than that, 6 drivers from NAOR all behind him. NAOR is going to win this stage.
And we see the 12 of Stout Whiskey trying to pass the 22, coming to the line. They're side by side. Looks like the 22 got it. What a stage 1.
What a great run. 66 laps remaining here after stage 1. It looks like COT Tommy is going to be the lucky dog for TNT and be back on the lead lap after that mishap that happened here at the end of stage 1.
So I just got the results from stage 1. Your top 10, which is your points paying position, is going to be Dan the Lawn Man in first, Juicy Crack second, Baritone Boss third, Q-Dog fourth, Cole fifth, Cheese sixth, Stout Whiskey seventh, J-Paw eighth, Mark the Fat Shark in 9th, and Davy Jones 10th. So basically NAOR took the top 8 positions. Mark the Fat Shark and Davy Jones, the only 2 getting stage points. That's going to put them in a 52-3 hole right now. Not a good start for TNT as we go green for stage 2.
And the 43 tried to get in line, but he changed his mind with the last second. He's going to the back as he's taking 3 wide.
Very wobbly.
He's going to file in here right in front of the 19 of Quiet. And we got a decent high side going, but they are filing in single file fast.
Absolutely. We saw this happen at the beginning of stage 1 where, after the first, initial restart, drivers just kind of fell in line in a single file line right from the get-go. And then when pit stops started to happen, we started to see some shake-up, except that run that NAOR made to get the lead. So what I'm interested to see here is that if TNT can do a similar move as NAOR did to take the lead here and dominate the stage.
As we see the 2 of COT Tommy back on pit road. I don't know what the problem was there. Maybe he had some damage he had to repair?
He actually had
could
to
that be
serve
the
a pass-through. Yeah, you're right on the money. Yeah, that was that pass-through that he could not serve in stage 1 due to not keeping 4 tires on the apron. On the exit of pit road. So we talked about it, minimizing mistakes. That was huge. That not only, took him out of the running for stage points in stage 1, but also put him behind in stage 2.
And he's in a similar situation here. He's got deja vu as the pack is hurling down this turn, and they're going to catch him within maybe half a lap to a lap, and he's going to go another lap down.
Well, he definitely got the lucky dog in that stage, so he was back on the lead lap. However, he's going to go right back a lap down after getting the lucky dog.
And now it's an interesting choice. Does he stay on the bottom and make the pack go high, or is he going to just let them buy on the bottom? Right now, he'd stay on that bottom. It's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Again, they're going to go high. Oh,
Yeah, he's gonna
making
make
it
them
difficult.
go around him. Yeah, seeing that NAOR is in front, you're really going to try to help your guys out the most. And you see what he did there by staying on the bottom. He just shuffled all those NAOR guys up, and that may
Absolutely.
play into the hands of TNT.
And I mean,
Slide
it's a
job.
3-car breakaway, but it's going to be interesting to see. Will that 9-car with this huge run take the high side and maybe go for the lead? And no, he's going to stay on the bottom.
Dan the Lawn Man
Slide
still
job.
out front.
We have a question from a fan asking, how do you think the draft affects the fuel mileage here in stage 2?
Oh, it's definitely going to affect the fuel mileage in many different ways. So, first of all, the guy leading the draft, that number 3 car of Dan the Lawn Man, he's burning more fuel than anybody on track right now. So, as we saw, the 12, the Stout Whiskey was leading the group. He actually had to pit early, 1 lap early with the 9 because of that. So, driver leading the draft is obviously going to use the most fuel at a disadvantage. But a guy maybe all the way towards the back, like the 18, who's in the 15th position right now, he can sit back there and save laps. So while the 3 and the rest of the NAOR crew is up here in the front, really pushing hard and burning fuel, TNT might be playing defense. As we see a couple of their drivers kind of falling off to the back here, they might be playing fuel mileage.
And I'm looking back here again, and 19 is holding back again. And if this stage goes caution-free, he's going to go a lap down, and that could hurt Tommy. If he doesn't get a caution here, Tommy, won't get the lucky dog. The 19's gonna, that's gonna be a race for the free pass, and that could be something we should watch if they go caution-free.
Absolutely. They cannot let another one of their drivers go lap down, because the 2 car is already 1 lap down. There's nothing you can do about that because he had to serve the penalty. Now you just have to keep him in the free pass position to stay alive. So you're going to want to try to keep all the rest of your drivers up in the main pack, just staying on the pace and making sure that they do not go a lap down.
Looks like we have 21 laps to go in stage 2, as most of the leaders look like they have about 8-9 laps of fuel left. So they're going to start making their pit stops with about 12-13 laps to go. So I don't remember how long a fuel run was. It might have been 14 or 15.
So
I don't know.
12 laps.
Kyle, so yeah, 12 laps. It's going to be a very tight window when they're going to make it. A lot of people are going to want to make that undercut to have the advantage on the second team with already being up to speed, but we don't know if they're going to be able to have that advantage, because they might have to all pit at the same time.
Here's the deal: the stage is 27 laps, so if you can go full speed and go 12 laps in a tank of fuel, all you need to do is save 3 laps between the 2 runs. So if you can save basically 2 laps on one run, 1 lap on the other, like a lot of drivers can do in the back of this pack, that might even be the strategy call. You are hoping that guys like the 3 of Dan the Lawn Man, the 14 of Baritone Boss, the 6 of Juicy, you're hoping that all those guys have to make a 2-stop, and you guys just sit back, relax, and save that fuel to make it a 1-stop.
Yes, and talking about the undercut, this is the place where it can be, dangerous to go for the undercut, and it basically solidifies that you are going for 2 stops, and that could allow the other team to go as slow as they want, and they'll just, they'll be the top 10 drivers.
Absolutely. It's going to be, as we saw, NAOR dominate the top 10 in stage 1. If TNT is going to have any shot at this, they have to take stage 2 here in dominating fashion. I mean, unless they take the top 10 positions in stage 3, they're really going to need to grab some stage points here.
And I'm looking at the 1, and he could be one for TNT that's saving fuel. He's not drafting up to the 12. He's just holding back, and that's a lot of TNT drivers back here that I think could be all on the same strategy.
Absolutely, and it looks like that was 18 to go that time by. So if you're gonna make it all the way, you gotta go at least another 5 laps. At least 5 to 6, depending on how you want to break it up.
And I'm seeing Tommy in the 2 car. He's peeking out. He may be one of those drivers that has high tape, and he's got to keep that car cool. But I mean, he's got an extra lap of fuel than all these guys, so he could save less and go one stop, get his lap back, and he's right back in this race.
I'm watching on board with that 2 car of Tommy. He's running about 246 degrees of tape, which is actually the sweet spot. Most people will tell you 247 degrees will be your hot number. You do not want to go any more above that, because if you go anywhere between 247 and 260, you're going to be gradually losing a little bit of engine performance. And by the time you go past 260, you are in danger of severely damaging your engine, if not blowing it.
And talking about that 1 car again, he is now closed up to the 12, and they may have saved what they want to for this run. They may go an extra lap on fuel and then save less while they're in the front.
Absolutely, we'll keep an eye on this pack, and it looks like that time by 16 to go for the field. So if you're going to make it to the end, I would say 4 more laps, 3 more laps, as it looks like, yeah, you mentioned a couple of the NAOR guys signaling they're coming this time by.
Maybe they're making a bold strategy here because they know they have that huge points gap from stage 1.
And once again, watch, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the first 2 cars, same strategy with front 2. Yeah, here we go. They're going to pass.
Same team, same strategy.
Yeah. I like the strategy if that pack comes in at the same time. They are gaining time on entry, whereas a big pack, they have to slow down a bit more. They have to give people space, and they're not getting all that, all they can for entry.
Now, here's something interesting to note. Did you notice how NAOR didn't just send the front guy? They sent the second guy too. And the reason for that is 1 car alone is going to be significantly slower than the 2-car tandem. So you see them always pitting almost like the buddy system to try to get faster times to make sure their whole team gets back up. As you saw, the leaders right now, the 9 and the 6 signaling, they're coming down. It looks like, nope, just the 6.
Just the 6.
So how do you like that call, Kyle? The 6 all by himself this time.
I don't like it. Maybe he can file out with these 2 cars out front, but if he can't do that, he could lose the draft, and that could be his stage over.
Looks like the 9 of Q-Dog at the point, the 17 behind him, and the 12. Looks like all of them
what in the world?
Signaling they are coming down to pit road. Could be interesting with these lap cars coming up to the field, but they may not be a factor. But yeah, it looks like the rest of NAOR should be coming down here, at least these front 3. Will TNT stay out?
Here they come. And Tommy's coming in too. Okay, so he's not going to try and go for the 1 stop and get his lap back. He's sticking with his team. He's going to try and get them the most points they can.
That is the entire
1 car there
field.
hit the inside wall and came across into some of them.
Now we're going to be on board while those guys are on pit road pretty much almost the entirety of the field. We're going to be watching the 3 and the 14. Now I'm seeing on the counter they should be 14 laps to go here. Do you think these guys are going to stretch it those last 2 laps?
I think they're going to cycle out to be the leader, so I think they're going to take 2 stops. But looking at the 6 car, I think he sped on pit road because he is nowhere near these 2 out front.
Talk about insult to injury. The 2 has sped on pit road as well. We're here, so talk about penalty after penalty.
Here come those 2, the 3 and 14, entering 1, catching up the big pack. This is going to be pretty close.
Yeah, it looks like
but look at that
people.
32.
Looks like the 18 had a speeding penalty as well. What a ton of penalties there.
And that's what I'm talking about. A big pack entering at the same time. That's not ideal. It could cause run-ins, so people speeding. It could cause crashes, so like the person hitting the inside wall. That's why I like the 3 and the
14.
who else was it? 14. That's why I like their strategy. They're mid-pack right now. They're filing in, but they're still on that outside.
Now, how about this?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the 32 is gonna come out as your leader. Look at the lead he's got. He's got almost a second lead. He's a sitting duck right now, and it looks like
he's
gonna
dead.
be the 12.
They're gonna have him passed.
It's gonna be this 12 of Stout Whiskey is gonna be in second place right now. He's gonna
going to the high side.
He's gonna go to the high side, collecting the 3 of Dan the Lawn Man, but the 42 and it looks like a couple others are gonna follow him on the bottom. It looks like the 42 is going to take over the second spot with the 9 of Q-Dog behind him. Kyle, do you think NAOR is kind of shuffling around to try to get lined up?
I think they are, but look at this. The 32 stays down low and the 42 pushes him. That is huge as far as teamwork goes.
Mm-hmm.
And now the 77 of Dirt to Daytona on the outside by himself. He's going to go to the back.
Absolutely. And, we see the 32 and the 42 and the 1 out here for TNT, but, what a big mistake by TNT having all those drivers make either pit road entering mistakes or just losing the draft. There's not many TNT drivers here in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't do this, they're going to have to do something crazy in the third stage, and as of right now, I don't like their shots, but, I mean, miracles have happened in this world before, so, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's going to be tough.
They do have their guy up front of Twisted Navy in that 32, holding off a bunch of them NAOR guys, which is definitely going to help them, but it can't be a one-man show for TNT. They have to get some more guys in that top 10. It's not going to help if they have a guy 8, 9, and 10 when NAOR had guys in 2, 3, and 4.
Now,
that's just going to be even bigger points of disadvantage.
Now, you can't ignore this, though. Now, we talked about saving fuel and getting to the end. They just came around and hit 10 to go. They're probably not going to be able to make it out front like this. You saw how the front 2 always burn more fuel. Do you think NAOR let them get in front? You saw the 12 of Stout Whiskey kind of fall back. You think they did that on purpose to let these 2 guys run out of fuel, knowing that they're going to have to save to get to the end?
I don't know if that's risky, because if they don't have to pit, you're giving up some spots, but if they do, then it's a great choice. But who I'm looking at here, I'm looking at the 2, 18, and 6 back here entering turn 1. These 3, remember Tommy has an extra, well, he doesn't now, but they could be saving this entire time, and they could jump the entire field if they have to.
Well, if I'm in that back pack, I am absolute saving. I mean, you're at the point where you are out of it if these guys go to the end. So you might as well, try your best and, hope that these guys up here have to make a second stop.
Yeah, and the 3 and 14, they are not saving. It's pretty clear they're trying the outside. They're building runs all they can. But I'm looking at the 12 with Stout Whiskey. Once again, it's like what TNT was doing with the 1 and their drivers. They were holding back. And I'm looking at the 12. He's holding back. He's not on the bumper of the 14.
I think a big reason that 3 and 14 aren't saving is because they were 2 laps ahead of the field, so they know they have to make it on a 2-stop. And I think they just kind of accepted the fact that they can't save those 2 laps, and they know their team has a big points lead right now, so if it doesn't work on the 2-stop, they just lose a little bit of points, and TNT gets a very minimal gain.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to be smart, so, you can't, with a lead like they do right now, you can't be too crazy. You can't roll the dice hard just because, you want to keep a safe lead. You want to make sure that you're going to be there for stage 3, so nothing too crazy now, as it looks like we were just 7 to go that time by, coming to 6.
Yes, sir.
They were about 4 laps out from pit stops if they go all the way, but like I said, it's gonna be, it's gonna be close with these NAOR guys. And oh, look at this! Here comes the 19 entering turn 1 now. He's gonna go a lap down, and that ruins the 2 car.
Absolutely, and I think, to be honest with you, I think the 2 car really kind of ruined himself there. Not only getting 1 penalty, but then not coming up on the racetrack, getting a 2nd penalty, serving that penalty, and then on top of that speeding. So it's definitely been a rough race for him thus far. It doesn't look like it's going to get much better anytime soon if this pack is able to, and they will catch that 19.
Yeah. And another thing, I don't agree with the 2 pitting with his team. I think he really should have stayed out. It would have been best for his race because he had that extra lap. He could have gone further, and he could have unlapped himself by not having to pit again. But here we are. He chooses his team for teammates, and now he's going to be a lap down for stage 3.
Absolutely, and he's doing the smart thing right now. He's just going to the high side, letting the entire field by. We just heard over the radio that was 5 to go, so cautions are going to be off.
I'm 2-4.
Yeah, we're gonna have cautions off, coming to 4 to go here. If these guys want to pit or have to pit, it's gonna have to be in these next 2 laps.
And another thing with that 2 car, if he has to pit again, he's gonna go 2 laps down. If any one of these NAOR guys can make it all the way, and that just puts him in an even deeper hole. As now the 3 and 14 signal, they're coming to pit road, along with the 43.
It's going to be the first dominoes to fall here in the 2nd stop of stage 2. To see how it's going to work out for this first pack and see what the rest of them are going to do. Are they going to pit in the lap? Are they going to pit with 3 to go? It's going to be a very tough decision.
Here comes 2 cars. It looks like, we had the 14 and 1 other car are going to make it down. So if these TNT guys are saving, that's another spot.
We knew it was going to be these 2 guys, the 14 and the 3 pitting. They're the ones they pitted a lap before everybody else. But is it going to help them again with the off schedule? Do you want to have that speed already built up as the big pack is going to be coming out of pit road?
Now, don't look now, but, remember that driver that I mentioned early in the broadcast? The 21, Davy Jones, has somehow slipped his way up to this front pack here. He's in the back, so if I'm Davy Jones, I'm saving hard off this back pack, hoping these guys have to pit, and he could end up taking a stage win here.
Yeah, these guys
3
are
to go in the
3
stage.
to go.
Absolutely.
It's now or never.
I'm hearing pits are closed. That was 2 to go at the line. I'm not sure. I thought that was 3 to go. Race control might be mistaken, but at least it's either pit road is closed or I'm hearing 2 to go on race control. So
the 19 goes another lap down as well. That now the 2? Wait a second. The 2 is gonna have the free pass then, does he not?
Let me see if he is still 1 down. He is still 1 down, so yes, he will be the free pass since the 19 will be 2 down.
Wow.
So alright, well, it's still a car for TNT.
Alright, 1 to go at the line. You saw a little bit of NAOR try to jump out to the outside, but it's still the 32, the 42, and the 1 from TNT holding serve on the bottom line. Will somebody try something? Will someone run out of fuel?
Yeah.
There
goes the 9.
And the 12.
He's getting a big push. He got a huge push.
Yeah,
they're
looks
all
like
going
the 17 is going with him. 4 on 3 right now. Where will the 21 and the 22 go?
They're going to get the 1.
Heading towards the trial.
The 21.
Oh, there goes the 21.
Making moves, gets around the 23 up.
Your stage winner is going to be Twisted Navy.
Twisted Navy.
Saved enough.
Wow.
That's
That was
huge for
astronomical.
TNT, but it's not big enough.
So they saved enough, even being in the lead. How about that, guys? That's crazy. 21 getting a couple spots there, coming to the line. So he's gonna grab some stage points for his team. Looks like TNT might be coming back a little bit here, guys.
I mean, they lessened the margin definitely, but I mean, they still got a big gap from the NAOR guys.
It is going to be Tommy getting the free pass. Quiet is going to be 2 laps down, and it looks like TNT lost another driver. Dirt to Daytona might have lost an engine or had some technical difficulties because he is 7 laps down. So that means TNT is down to 8 guys, which is not what they needed right now.
No,
You're absolutely correct.
That may seal the deal right there.
So there are 4 drivers from TNT out of this want more than or a lap down or more. COT Tommy is gonna get the free pass here, but there's still gonna be 3 drivers a lap down. So as we come to the green here, here's your stage 2 results. It's gonna be Twisted Navy. Jeep Gold is going to take your top 2, then Q-Dog, Jacket FND, Stout Whiskey, Cheese, Davy Jones, Cole, J-Paw, and Mark the Fat Shark all the way back in 10th is going to grab the point.
Yeah, they saved.
It's going to be 32 laps to go.
Ooh, alright. So, if they want to take away a stop, they got to save 6 laps of fuel. So, if I'm the TNT guys, if they want to do that, I'd say drop to the back instantly. They want to start doing that right now. You know, save 3 on this run, save 3 on the next, and that could be huge. But as I'm looking at it, Jacket FND is staying up front with the 32. And Slide, what do you think, as far as strategy goes? Would you save here, or would you try and, stay out front, keep your team in the lead?
Well, I mean, we've already seen 2 stages in a row. The strategy of staying out has worked for multiple people. So, and there's quite a few laps here. We only did 27 in the second stage, 29 in the first stage. There's over half the race left here. There are quite a few laps. I'm actually just going to sit in the back and ride because points aren't awarded until you cross the checkered flag finish line. So, it's really going to be, a strategy game, a chess game, if you will, all the way out here.
And I'm looking again at the 19. He's 1 or 2 laps down here. I don't know if he took the wave around or not, but once again, he's, he's staying back. He may be waiting for a big wreck, get his laps back, and, you never know. Maybe he could be that guy to save. And, once again, the 32 just staying up front. I really think the TNT guys need to go to the back here. I mean, I don't see them winning by track position at this point, unless they can get all their guys up there that they still have. But looking at NAOR, they're mid-pack, they're in the back, they're all over the place right now. But, looking to see if they get formed up to make a run on the top, get this lead back. But honestly, looking at Stout, once again, he's holding back. I think he could be saving.
Now, how about this, guys? I just finished tabulating the points here. Stage 2 actually did go to TNT. Getting those top couple of positions, they're going to win Stage 2, 31-24. So, they did have that large deficit in Stage 1, but that's going to bring the totals up to 76-34. So, the margin is only 42 points, which, as we've seen in the third stage, is not that much to overcome.
Yeah, but I mean, how many drivers are with NAOR currently on track? Because what is it? TNT has 7, 8 drivers. We gotta go for that, that's another 40 points right there that NAOR could be having just by drivers surviving.
Absolutely. You're actually tabulating. You got 8 drivers on track right now for NAOR, and if you're just talking about guys on the lead lap, you have Tommy, Jacket, Mark, Davy Jones, Twisted Navy, Jico, and Trishtran. Not Trishtran. No, that's just 6. So right now it's 8-6 with 3 drivers from the TNT side are out of the race, but they're still getting points. So you have a 19 point advantage. Sorry, with 17 drivers in the race, you have 19 point advantage to TNT. So that brings the deficit down half. So you only need to pick up about 15 points right now in stage 3.
All right, well, this race is a lot closer than I thought it was. But, I mean, still being back by 15 points, I think I really hate seeing this 32 lead in. I think he needs to be in the back. And we saw the 14 there get into walled into trial. Not sure what happened there. Maybe, got shuffled out, maybe got bumped. But it's getting dicey here in mid-pack. They're getting antsy. They want to go.
One person that's been antsy off the jump has been the 18 of Mark the Fat Shark. He made some bold moves right at the beginning of the race, and he has now quietly been chilling in the back since the end of stage 1 and all of stage 2. I expect him to start making his way back up into the fold within probably the next 15-20 laps if he wants a chance to be able to get some good points for TNT.
Now how about this, guys? I talked about the 21 again earlier in the broadcast. He ended up getting stage points there at the end, but he's up to 4th now. He's never been a driver to fight off the gate, as you saw in Atlanta and you saw at Mid-Ohio. He kind of slipped up there as the race went on, and here we go. 21 is the highest position he's been all race in when it counts. So we still got plenty of racing to go here, but that 21 is creeping up.
Exactly. If I had to describe Davy Jones in one word, it'd be consistent. At Atlanta, he was one of the most consistent drivers for TNT, and against Unbound at Mid-Ohio, he stayed mid-pack a big chunk of the race, but me and other drivers raced around him. You'd see that you wouldn't see him going off track often. You wouldn't see him either putting up the big laps. He'd be running them consistent lap times and slowly making his way through the field, waiting for other guys to make mistakes. And that's probably another thing he's been doing today, waiting for a car to maybe poke out a line, poke his nose under, and slowly be gaining them big positions for TNT.
Absolutely. And we just hit 24 to go at the line. 24 to go at the line. So we are in the window to make it a 2-stop race. But, will we see some drivers try to stretch it, try to save those extra laps and make it 1-stop?
Well, looking at the 14 here in the back, he's about maybe 3-4 tenths behind the 17, and he could be, he may not even be full throttle saving fuel. But the main person I'm looking at is his 22. He's not on the bumper.
Ooh.
He's not. Oh, whoa! What happened there?
Oh, it looked like something with the 21 and the 1 there kind of stacked everyone up. The 22 got a little jolted. Not sure what's going on up front there, but a lot of
seems like the 1 is lagging, and the 18.
And we got a wreck.
We got a spin in the
12
back.
is around with the 43. Stout whiskey and cheese.
A lot of people lagging.
Oh, and the 18 then puts the 17 in the wall.
That should be a caution.
It looks like we're hearing there might be some server issues. So the officials have called a caution to see if we can get this sorted out. But yeah, there was definitely some lag as it started up front and cycled its way to the back.
And just watching this 18, he's still all over the place. He's just kind of twitching around.
here's the interesting fact. We're on lap 73, guys, and lap 71 is the cutoff for
Official.
75%. So if something can't happen here, this race might be official.
Yeah. I mean, how does
Oh,
this
the
work?
one
Will they
just-
resume the race?
They will not. So if we've passed the 75% percentile, the race is over.
Yeah, and looking at the two, he's dropped down in the grass. What's going on with the two here? He's stopped in the grass. Alright. Oh.
Yeah, it just broke.
Oh no.
Server
And-
just broke here at Talladega.
And that will make it official with NAOR, Well, no, does it go off, if it goes off at positions they lagged out at, TNT, they had one
TNT
third and,
had the big
Yeah.
advantage right
So
there at the end.
yeah, they could have this.
It's going to be at the moment of the first lag, when we saw that lag issue, when we saw the up front with the one and the 21, the race is over at that point. So we've reached the 75% percentile. At the moment that the first lag jumped out, we will be freezing the race, as if imagine in real NASCAR as if they were driving and the rain were to come out, right? The field would be frozen, and we would be they would be determining it based on scoring loop. Well, in eNASCAR, the moment of lag is our scoring loop. So we will be determining the final position based on where that is. So this race is over. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to the fans. We will not be able to continue, to a green flag checkered finish here. But we will determine the finishing order in moments, and we will be able to get you guys a result here. But yeah, we are going to take a short commercial break and get this all sorted out, and we will be right back with the results. So give us a little bit, and we will we'll get this all sorted out. back with the Fast Family League Showdown. We apologize for the technical difficulties that happened with the servers yet again, but we are back. We've gotten all the official results, and but first we're gonna get some driver interviews. So we'll just go over the top finishing order for the drivers that we'll be talking to today. It is declared as Twisted Navy in the 32 is going to be your winner, followed by Q-Dog in the 9, Jacket FND in the 1, Davy Jones in the 21, J-Paw in the 22, and Dan the Lawn Man in the number 3. So we're going to hear from them along with COT Tommy. So
We was able to save some fuel there at the end. We felt like we had a pretty good strategy. It's unfortunate for everybody that it ended the way it did. I mean, we was looking forward to the end of that one.
Exactly. I know y'all were. How did you get yourself up to be in the second highest finisher for TNT in tonight's race? In that third stage.
Oh man, like I said, just staying smooth, staying patient. I was able to get under the 9 before the last pit stop. I was just holding tight, waiting for him to make a mistake. He did a better job holding the bottom of that run, so I wasn't able to get an opening. But I was content with running where I was, based off our strategy.
Well, it was an awesome performance by you today, and we're going to go back to Slide Job in the booth.
All right, bud. Thanks.
all right, Kyle fan, why don't you take the third place driver for NAOR? That would be Dan the Lawn Man.
All right. Hey, Dan, it's Kyle in the booth again. So we saw you leading a few laps there, and we saw you playing strategy in these stages to pit a bit earlier than the rest of your team. What was going through the team's, mind and their strategy to get out front by sending the first two guys to pit road?
So basically what forced our hand on that was the first stage, we got the win, and then the 14 and I got connected there in the second stage, and we were running first and second, but we couldn't really save any gas running out front. So we decided to, keep it out there, try to keep our team up behind us, and then sacrifice ourselves and have to short pit. We knew we were gonna have to pit an extra time for gas, so that's what happened there. The team was great tonight, man. It was really fun racing with them. Nobody was racing for themselves. We raced as one, and it was pretty cool.
Absolutely. We saw your team working together really well, and we saw you mid-pack in the third stage. They weren't really sucking up to the cars up front. Were you gonna, save those 6 laps for the final?
No, we weren't trying to save gas there. We were actually all over the radio trying to figure out if we would pit earlier than everybody else to just, prevent chaos from happening going into pit road. So we weren't really saving. We were strategizing and trying to figure out what the next plan was. We knew everybody was going to have to pit twice. I don't think anybody could have saved. So that was the strategy there.
All right, thank you, and great race for your whole team. Good job to you, and send it back to Slide here.
All right, we are here with the driver of the number 22 Ford Pennzoil machine of J-Paw. And J-Paw, we said on the broadcast, man, we don't know what it is with NAOR and not finishing races, but I guess the one thing that hasn't happened yet in the tournament was you haven't ended up in the catch fence, so that's pretty good. Why don't you go through and tell us about your race as a whole, minus the ending there?
Well, just remember, Slide, there's still a short track and or Michigan. So either way that this goes, there's still catch fences waiting. But nah, man, the team did great. We worked together. We worked as a unit. We had a plan coming in for all 3 stages. Loved every bit of it. I want to shout out the people who didn't make it for the team. Shane, who of course helped last week. And then Bravo, Jaquim, who is actually out, he's serving our country. He's a Marine, so shout out to him. Winding and Beast Hunter out there at college without his Xbox. So that's the people that missed tonight. I can't say enough about Cheese and Cole and Baritone, Stout, Juicy, of course, Dan. And then, I think it was Q-Dogs had to give up the number 9 car the last 2 rounds, and he finally got that number 9, and look at him. He was up at the front all race, loved every bit of it, was having fun, and that's what it's all about. As far as strategy, man, we right before, I promise you, when we crossed the line, we were coming that next time to pit road. So, and then
Wow.
and then the lag happened. So, 1 lap later and that lag happened, it might have been a different story. TNT might have had all top, 8, 10 spots, who knows? And we would have been, left out in the dark. But thank goodness, the server gods helped us out there as for that. But no, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough, you and Ford, for putting this tournament on. It's been great. I wish we could not be team controversy and actually finish a race, but I also got to give a shout out to Tommy. His group was phenomenal tonight. We enjoyed racing with them. We had some tense moments, but hey, you ain't never raced with anybody before, you're gonna have those moments. So, but overall, man, it was 99.9% fun. I think the only time I didn't have fun was breaking onto pit road because it was chaos that one time. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah,
That was tense.
but yeah, I just want to thank the broadcasters and you and Ford especially for putting this on, and all the officials who's spent their time just coming just to sit here and watch us race. So I appreciate everybody involved.
Absolutely, we appreciate that, and good job today keeping it out front. And we're gonna move on to the guy you just mentioned, the number 9 of Q Dog, getting his highest finish in the tournament, second place, one position short of winning a race. But Q Dog, you had a fantastic day. Why don't you tell us about it?
It was definitely a lot of fun. Actually felt like I did my part this time. Hanging back there around 17th, 18th last time at the road course wasn't really doing my part for the team. So glad I could do that. Always fun running with my teammates. Just working together. It was really fun to see how everything unfolded. And with us just having our championship race, we quickly turned the switch to this team tournament. You know what I mean? And it's definitely a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and I know you were one of those drivers that was competing in that championship for, so you've just been on edge for a couple weeks now. So it's been nuts. But congratulations on a second place finish. You definitely helped out your team. And now, Kyle fan, why don't you join our winner, Twisted Navy, in victory lane?
All right, Twisted. First off, great job winning the race. It was off a little bit of controversy, but all in all, it's still a win. Going through your mind, why did you choose to stay out front? And I was saying, that entire third stage that I think these guys should fall back. They should try and save 3 and 3, and that could give your team a huge shot to get a lot of the spots in the top 10. But what was going through your head as leading in stage 3? All right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the first 2 stages, we saw multiple strategies being played. I saw a lot of your team, they pit at the same time with NAOR. Why was that were you ever going to try and undercut them or maybe even jump over them with an overjump? Yeah. Yeah. The results there definitely going to be interesting. It's definitely a close battle, but all in all, good race for your team, and hopefully we see you again.
All right, well, with that, let's not waste any more time and get to the results. So, we talked about NAOR getting that first stage 52-3, and then TNT pulling it back 31-24. Now let's get to the results for stage 3. With that finishing order, TNT is going to take the stage 3 win 250-230. So that's definitely going to make it tight. Well, when you total it all up, if you're calculating it at home, TNT is going to come home with 284 points, and NAOR is going to come home with 306. So unofficially, minus penalties, NAOR is going to move on to the round of 8, and the TNT squad is going to head to Michigan. So let's first go back to the driver number 22, J-Paw. So hearing the results, you've been through 3 insane races, but you ended up coming out with the unofficial win. So how does that feel? And if this result holds, what are your plans for the round of short tracks?
Well, we are pretty much, I guess, team unofficial because all 3, have been definitely ended earlier than we wanted. We won a full race. We were hoping for 3 full races, but if we end up going to Michigan for penalties, whatnot, we've got steady, fast cars that can go out there and probably, I suspect, grab 2 of the 3 top 5 spots. But if we do advance to the short track round, we'll be ready. As long as it's not Martinsville, we'll be ready.
Well, Martinsville is in the 4, so you'll have to just pray the wheel does not give it to you. But absolutely, it's gonna be wild.
Pete's wheel
Oh, yeah.
is not kind. I'm not gonna lie. I want
Oh
Pete
yeah,
to find a new
definitely
wheel.
not. Well, the good news is that you're increasingly finishing more and more of races. In the first round, you only finished a stage. Second round, you finished 2 stages. Tonight, you finished 75% of a race. So, fingers crossed, the next race you race, going for that 100%. So, we'll see. But congratulations on the official win, or unofficial win,
Unofficial.
and we'll see for the results. And I believe it's we got Big Spur is going to talk to COT Tommy.
Hey, Tommy, you got me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, what do you guys say about how your boys drove out there tonight, and what was your opinion about how the race ended?
My boys drove a great race. We definitely didn't do well on stage 1, but we came roaring back in stage 2, and I really think we had a really good shot at coming out of there at the end of stage 3. And you hate to see what happened in stage 3, but it happens, right? I mean, we've seen it happen before. There's a reason, there's a rule in place. So, congrats to NAOR. Today being 9/11, we ran the hero scheme for all the heroes and all the people who were devastated by that day. So this kind of goes out to them and all the people serving overseas and seas, including our own Twisted Navy. So in the grand scheme of things, it happens. And just congrats to NAOR and good luck in the next round.
Gracious guy right there,
All right,
COT Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy.
I have a question for Mr. Tommy. So, unofficially, your guys aren't going home yet. You guys are unofficially headed to Michigan. So, I'm sure a lot of people at home want to know, how are you guys going to prepare for Michigan? And if you were to pick a snap decision, who would be your top 5 right now?
That's tough. Because we were missing a bunch of guys today. The schedule didn't really line up for us last minute, and we lost about 3 guys. One because of a wedding, and shout out to Richie for getting married. But yeah, we lost a couple guys. But if I were to pick our top 5 right now, I don't know. I mean, the top 5 of the race, I guess they ran pretty good. So Twisted, Davey, Jacket. Mark is definitely always fast, so we'll see, but in the meantime, we'll just run a lot of Michigan and hope for the best. We'll be ready for sure. We're always ready. I think if that last stage would have went the distance, we were ready, so it's unfortunate.
All right, well, we cannot wait to see you in either the round of 8 or the wild card round. So you are not done. You will see these guys one more race, if not more. So congratulations on making it yet this far, and good luck. So
Thank you.
Before we get going here, we appreciate all of you that have stayed during the race, and even after all of that have still stayed with us in the broadcast. We really appreciate it, and we do apologize for all of the issues that have gone on, but we have a double header tomorrow. I did want to mention that tomorrow, starting at 7:30, is going to be probably the most anticipated race for all of you fans out there. Sebi's Xbox Racing League, the number 1 seed, the bye winner from Stage 1, taking on American Ethanol. Tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. They're going to be right back here, Talladega for the Geico 500. And then later that day, actually night, 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you have IVRL, International Virtual Racing League versus Carolina Racing League. Tomorrow, 10 p.m., they're going to be running the Alabama 500, also here at Talladega. You got Atlanta Racing, Jerem Dohar, and Imric James on the call for the 7:30 race. Worm Rider, Wild Will C, and Imric James doing the double tomorrow. So you're going to hear a lot of him tomorrow for the double there. And then to finish it off, just so we mention it, the final race, the fifth race of round 3, will be Tuesday, September 15th. ENEA versus NNR. That's going to be Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We're finishing at Daytona. We got repeat 1975, Frozen Toes, and the J-Mac Attack in the booth for that one. So, a couple of great races coming up. A lot of action. Stay tuned. Please tune in tomorrow for the 2 races. We really appreciate you guys coming out and sticking with us through the craziness through today. Kyle and Big Spur, thank you guys for being awesome in the booth today. And if you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap it up.
Slide Job, just another great night here in the Fast Family Racing League Showdown. Very happy to jump in the booth anytime for y'all. Great racing from NAOR and TNT. Good win for NAOR. I have to say it right. It took me 3 hours to even say the name right, but great night. Glad to be with you guys, and it was great working with you and Kyle.
And as far as my first time in the booth here goes, I mean, I really loved it here. I mean, I loved watching the racing. I loved, being able to, commentate with you guys. And, I'd love to find myself here again, but, it just depends on how it goes here. But great race to start off with, I think. And, I can't wait for the next races.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back. You did a fantastic job. So thank you for that. All right. Well, that was it. This was race 2 of round 3 of the Fast Family Racing League Showdown. I'm Mr. Slidejob 1996. You heard him, Big Spur 14, Kyle Fan 18. This was NAOR versus TNT. Thank you, and have a safe good night.